Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. It is Monday, and my god, do we have a lot of news for you today. Genuine question, actually. We're actually going to start looking at the new crazy fusion epic and the most broken faction unity champion released so far. Um, Let me know, do you like these massive news videos, or would you prefer me to split these up into a few different things? Because we've got two crazy new champions. We've got actually some kind of nice quality of life stuff coming in a new patch. We have summon events as well. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Is it too much? I don't know. Let me know. Genuinely, more videos or just you like these big ones? The big ones is easier to do for sure. I don't know. I kind of like that. I like long videos myself. You'd never guess. Anyway, enough babbling. Some of you are already raging on babbling. This is almost definitely the fusion epic. Dawncaller Sabbatha. Void Affinity, which is spicy. Maybe not the fusion epic, actually, because they're void, but maybe. But they are ridiculously good. Epic. Not legendary. Epic. Let's look at the kit. A1, attack one enemy. Heal the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of their max HP. Great. That's like a Python A1 or something. Pretty solid. A2, Fortifying Ray. 5-turn books to a 3-turn cooldown. Puts increased defense and increased attack on all allies for 2 turns. The big versions of both buffs. That is legit. That is legit. Maybe there's... does Giscard do that? Or Gikar? Gikar? I think he's actually called. Maybe he does. Where is he? Is he not in here? Yeah. So he does do this, but there's not many that do. I feel like, again, that's sort of a legendary level move, honestly, but it gets better. Shimmer of Life. Books to a 4-turn cooldown. Revives an ally with 25% HP. That's bad. But 100% turn meter. 100% on a 4-turn cooldown. And puts block damage on that ally for 2 turns. Insane move. This move is bonkers. This is one of the best revives in the game. No joke. One of the best revives in the game. Turn meter on your revive is extremely important, because this lets champions take a turn, so they can get healed by passives, they can get healed by leech, by masteries from attacking, so they can actually do damage. Oftentimes you can revive people and they just die straight away. This is ridiculous. 100% turn meter. It's not an instant turn. It's not maximum. You can have over 100% turn meter, which is very unintuitive, but it is how it works. But they come back with block damage for 2 turns as well. So they're protected for this turn. And then when they take their turn, pretty darn quickly with 100% turn meter, they still have block damage for an entire other turn. This low HP really doesn't matter. It does not matter, because they're coming back with 2 turns of block damage. Plenty of time to heal them up. Crazy revive. Only on a 4-turn as well. Insane. Then Rising Fate, the passive, whenever this champion revives an ally, decrease the cooldown of one of this champion's skills by 1 turn. So that will... that just happens. There's no cooldown. So maybe it will reduce the cooldown of the A2. That's not bad. Or it can reduce the cooldown of the A3, which again is incredible. So they could potentially have a 3-turn cooldown. Revive. A 3-turn cooldown single target revive is really good. And then it's coming with 100% turn meter and 2 turns of block damage. Like... great. This is a great type of power creep. You know, we often get worried about power creep in the game. I tell you, power creep that's giving people an epic is nuts. And then 25% HP in all battles aura is really good as well. What an epic. This is probably the best epic Best epic in... I don't know. I can't think of a better epic. I mean, Demytho is pretty game-changing for block damage teams, for clan boss, but this champion... this is the new best epic reviver. Me and YSD had a big debate. You know, Ursula versus Godseeker versus Rector Drath. I think this is the new best epic reviver in the game. Then we've got Losan Cleth. He is the faction unity champion for the Knights Revenant. His A1 is interest. Attacks one enemy. 80 goes to 100% chance of putting weaken for 2 turns, and it cannot be resisted if they've attacked him before this turn. 100% weaken A1 is good, and it could be irresistible. Good. Check out this A2. This is the new strongest move in the game. 7 goes to a 5-turn cooldown. HP levels of all allies be brought up to that level of the ally with the highest HP. So HP equalization, we've seen that before. Very solid. This is new. The turn meter levels of all allies will be brought up to the level of the ally with the highest turn meter. Turn meter equalization for your team. This should affect him as well. So if he takes a turn and someone on your team has like 90% turn meter, it should basically bring everyone, probably including himself, up to 90% turn meter. That is absolutely busted. This is so broken. But that's not it. This is already arguably a top tier move. But that's not all. The HP levels of all enemies will be brought to the level of the enemy with the lowest HP, and the turn meter levels of all enemies will be brought down to the level of the enemy with the lowest turn meter. Unbelievably busted. So potentially giving your team a massive heal and the biggest turn meter boost in the game. I mean, Arbiter and stuff is crazy. 30% turn meter. He can potentially be giving multiple champions on your team like 80, 90% turn meter. It's ridiculous. And then to the enemy team, he potentially nukes the entire enemy team. Like, if you have one enemy on like 20% HP, he can bring the other three down to 20% HP. Potentially one of the biggest nukes in the game, though it can't kill anyone. And also, potentially one of the biggest turn meter depletes in the entire game as well. And then he also gets taunt for 2 turns just because he can. He is a faction unity. This isn't even his faction unity move. This isn't even faction. That's just what he does by default. It is crazy. Probably the strongest move in the game. It does have a 5-turn cooldown, but bearing in mind he can potentially be turn meter boosting himself back up to full almost immediately. I guess that has counter synergy with the taunt. But I mean, will you complain about getting this move back faster? I don't know. Look at his other stuff. So his first faction unity thing is Finality Disc. It's his A3 that has a 4 bucks to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy before attacking, transfers debuffs from him to the target, heals him by 10% max HP, and an additional 10% max HP for every debuff transferred. So yeah, self-healing, cleansing. Even if he doesn't have enough accuracy to place the debuffs, he will still remove them from himself. So very strong. And always uses this skill instead of the default skill when counterattacking. I don't believe he has a counterattack skill in his kit. But yeah, that's still potentially ridiculous. You give him a counterattack buff, maybe revenge accessories or something could be interesting. Let's see the faction unity stuff with one Knight Revenant. Before attacking, also remove all buffs from the target enemy, and it cannot be resisted if they've attacked him before his turn. 2 faction allies, attacks all remaining enemies with less than 30% HP. The attack ignores 100% defense and cannot be critical. There's a good chance that will just kill them. A pretty decent chance. We'll see what his multipliers are, but if they're that low on life, even if this doesn't hit crazy hard, it should probably still kill them. And then 3 faction allies. This skill deals 100% more damage to enemies who've attacked this champion before this turn. Man, so if you attack him at all, and especially if it triggers a counter, I presume, if he triggers this off a counterattack, yeah, you trigger a counterattack, it should count as you've attacked him before. He will do an irresistible buff strip. He'll try to transfer his debuffs to you, and then he'll hit you for double damage, which seems pretty powerful. And then I guess if you live on 30% HP, he'll also attack again, right? That's pretty cool. I guess one of the issues is I don't believe there's any counterattack champs in Knight's Revenant. Then the representation is passive. Every time he loses 25% HP or more from a single hit, puts block damage on him for 1 turn. That's hilarious. He's just going to be really hard to kill. And then, yeah, this will also give you a good, pretty decent HP base to equalize HP too. Like, I guess he'll stop. Well, depends how hard he's hit. But it will keep him alive, certainly, if he doesn't get one shot. And then you can equalize HP. Pretty interesting. With the faction unity, Knight's Revenant, 1 faction ally, when attacked, has a 15% chance of putting true fear on the attacker. Cannot be resisted. Small chance. Powerful when it happens. 2 faction allies, ignore defense effects against this champion are decreased by 100%. That is so busted. Holy crap. This guy becomes extremely difficult to kill. He's going to be so tanky. He's Force Affinity as well, which is, I think, the best defensive affinity for Arena and Siege and all of that. And then 3 faction allies, when attacked, has a 20% chance of activating an instant turn. So you come into the fight. The enemy, they go first with their big damage dealer. They try to nuke you because they're probably going to be faster if you're running a full faction unity team. Let's be real. Let's say you're going in with these Knights Revenant. Let's say you're going in with Ancora and Narses. They nuke your team. This guy, 20% of the time, he's like, oh, sorry, let me interrupt. Let me take a turn. Sorry, let me interrupt. Let me then equalize all of our HP, heal everybody up a big chunk. Let's boost everyone's turn meter. Let's push all of your turn meter back. Especially because if they've just nuked him and he takes a turn, they're going to have one person at 0 turn meter. So he just fully depletes everyone's turn meter on the enemy. I don't know if I don't think this can be resisted. I don't know. Seems nuts. Then he's got ally defense 25% in all battles and 60 resistance for Knights Revenant. That feels a bit weird. I guess you're supposed to run him on like sort of high resistance. I don't know, maybe an Ancora team or something. Pretty nuts though. And by pretty nuts, I mean absolutely mind-blowingly bonkers. 2 levels of power creep that are just crazy. You're going to have Empress in this faction. Everyone's going to get. That's really strong. Crixia, if you have her, would be extremely strong. Ancora, extremely strong. Narcissus is extremely strong. Georgid is very strong, extremely strong, but it doesn't really pair up with him well. Carolon also is kind of crazy. Turn meter boost. This was something I hadn't realized. I saw Cruzen talking about it. But he is potentially a 40% turn meter boost, which is the strongest in the game. And turn meter boosting is becoming, I think, more important in the speed meta because of supersonic. If you turn meter boost with buffs, like a Sifi, he has a small turn meter and lots of buffs, gives the enemy supersonic champions tons of turn meter. When you've got this, no buffs, but tons of turn meter, you can't cut in, so it's actually kind of strong. There's not too much else. Like Giath maybe is okay with them. I definitely feel like Ancora and Narses are the big ones to go with them. Hegemon's probably not too bad either. Maybe some funky Fortis stuff with True Fear would be funny. I definitely feel like the Mythicals. And obviously this, I don't know if I mentioned, but this new Epic is actually genuinely insane. She's Knights Revenant as well. So yeah, this guy, he looks... Is he the best? I think he's probably he looks to me like he could quite possibly be the best faction unity so far. I mean, that being, a lot of them are great. The Demon Spawn guy is busted. Demon Spawn guy super OP. Eox Lizardman super OP. I feel like this is the next super OP. It feels like about every 3. I think Fina is pretty darn good. And then the rest were not too crazy. Lizardman was crazy. And like Orcs was pretty good too. Demons, like I think Lizardman, no question, is crazy OP. I think Demon Spawn is crazy OP. I think this guy's crazy OP. By my calculations, the Sylvan Watchers one should be crazy OP. Though maybe they'll give us a crazy OP Shadowkin one as well. Who knows? But yeah, it seems like every 3 faction unity, they're like, just give us something that's completely broken. And here he is. I think he's completely broken. Right, but that's not all. We've got more news. Let's check out the more news. So going through the update highlights really fast. This should be dropping this week. Again, the fusion starts on the 8th. So that's Wednesday, 2 days. So I'm expecting this patch to go live on Wednesday morning. So this stuff should be Wednesday morning. New raid event. We know it's coming on the 8th. There we go. That's that. Champion Chase event. Log in. And you can get soul up to a 5 soul. Level 5 soul. So free login champion, and you're going to get a 5-star soul. That's pretty standard now at this point, but very exciting. We'll see how good that champion is. It's a mystery. There you are. Event Dungeon is back with relics, which is cool. Again, that's still a bit of a mystery, but Pinpoint Gear is back. That's going to be very high priority for any late to end game player. This is going to be extremely good. New relic group, the event relic group. Pinpoint Gear is back. Boom. Probably the best dungeon to farm for late to endgame players. For early mid-game, you're probably still better focusing on account progression in general. Unless you can, if you can snap a good relic, honestly, probably worthwhile. We'll see how easy it is. We'll come back to that when we see the actual events and the event dungeon, how hard it is. Market rework. Finally, it's here. The market in your bastion will become a hub where all the traders across various game modes can gather. Accessed by tapping on the regular building, you'll see tabs for the market itself, the token trader, the clan shop, the bazaar, the tag team bazaar, the soul merchant, and the mystic market. All of them in there. And I guess these ones will, I'm guessing, be removed from their other areas and just go into the market. They did something similar before with the Guardian Ring where they consolidated all of this. Well, actually, they created a lot of this stuff and put it in. But this used to just be the sparring pit. Now it's a bunch of stuff. Similar thing with the market. Pretty cool. On top of that, there'll be more changes. So actual changes to the basic market. It's not just consolidating all the different shops, in-game shops, as it were. It's also improving stuff. First, able to find rank 6 gear. Second, some of the existing sets from dungeons will become available in the market. And third, it will start featuring epic and legendary gear more often. And the more you progress, I love this, the more you progress, the better artifacts you get access to. And at a certain point, you'll even, I guess at some point you may even stop. I'm going to assume that this is not like, maybe you will, maybe you won't, and they're going to turn around. Actually, no, you don't. I'm going to guess that this means at a specific point, you will stop receiving common and uncommon gear from the market. I think it would be quite funny because you could interpret it that, you know, at some point you may stop receiving, and they're like, yeah, no, we never put that in the game. That we were just messing with you guys. No, at a certain point, this will definitely stop. You'll stop getting common and uncommon gear. That's pretty exciting. Now, it seems like going to be dungeon gear, unless it's pinpoint would be very exciting. I mean, hell yeah. Like, if it comes up, does it show you the stats? I think it does it. I don't know. I've never really bought gear in the market. Yeah, it totally shows you the stats. So you can be like, oh shit, it's an attack percentage boot with crit rate, crit damage in Savage. Okay, yeah. Oh, it's a HP percent, whatever. Gloves for shield set. Oh, that's pretty useful. You can see this. You can see, oh, it's whatever. 6-star legendary speed gear with speed. That's really exciting. So, yeah, I think that, you know, dungeon gear is definitely not as relevant at all as it was, but there's still some decent sets in there. It's still pretty fun. I think this is a really nice improvement. I think it's minimal. I think this is sort of minimal. This is like, the basics of what it should be. But it's okay. You know, I would love to see more stuff in the market. More interesting stuff in the market would be cool. But this is a start. It's definitely a start. This is how gear in the market should have worked, just full stop. So that's nice. Positive change there. Would love to see even more updates to the market in the future. You know, the occasional skill tome. Maybe some soul stones. Whatever. Some energy, anything like that. There's a lot of fun stuff you could put in the market that would be exciting for people to buy and for checking it. But hey, just better gear is good. Champion rating reset. We designed champion ratings to efficiently reflect how you evaluate particular champion's performance in different to maintain the relevance and accuracy of this, especially in light of the regular addition of new champions, rebalances of existing ones, and in-game meta shifts. We're applying champion rating reset. So basically, all of the champ ratings in-game, like these, are going to disappear. Which is, it's a spicy change, and rate them again. So yeah, go in and re-rate champions for how you feel they are. I actually think this would be a pretty fun idea. What would be cool would be, it'd be actually kind of fun if you could have different pages. You could have like, okay, this was the pre-2025 ratings. Then you could have 2025, the recent ratings. Then you could have 2026. The ratings for that year, and they could have a sort of a new page of this every single year, so you'd have a more up-to-date thing. That'd be pretty fun. I think this should be something they do probably every year. Could be cool. Or you could just have their lifetime ratings, but then have like recent ratings. That could also work as well. Kind of like a 3 or 6 month rolling average, to keep it more recent, because stuff changes pretty frequently. Like, I think a great example is Mr. Sir Nicholas. He's rated extremely high. This is clearly misleading, isn't it? The guy has got is he a 4.8 in arena offense? Is he a 4.9 in arena defense? Are we sure? I would argue that is incorrect and reflects how the game was probably 5 years ago or 4 years ago, whenever he came out. I think that is more reflective of 3 or 4 to 5 years ago, and not reflective of, certainly not now, and probably not even 2 years ago. I think even falling off then. So yeah, that's great. So small thing, but nice. And yeah, there's balance updates. Oh, so this is coming now, confirmed. And probably this, I don't know, will this work in the upcoming Siege? We have Siege coming up. And if this patch goes live on Wednesday, it will still be live for Siege. So that's a bit of a weird one. But Lethal Dose and Incinerate will work in Siege. That's great. Crazy thing is that they will probably stack. You have, I don't know if I can actually see it now. Our stuff is broken. There is some bonuses in the Stronghold that make Poison and Burn even more powerful. I wonder if they will stack with Lethal Dose and Incinerate. If they stack, that could make these ridiculously strong. Like, how do you beat Volcanos if you've boosted HP Burn and he's got a 6-star Incinerate? Like, it's busted. It's genuinely busted. So if Lethal Dose and Incinerate stack with the Siege bonuses, I actually think Poison and Burn become ridiculously strong for Siege. So that's something to look at. Berserk will all bosses be immune to Berserk? Cool. And then some Doom Tower changes, blah, blah, blah. I might do videos on these rebalances, Skull Lord and Tremeria. Already gave my thoughts on that. We've seen it before, so there we go. But we've got more stuff in game. Yes, we do. We have this Desired Summon Pool. I don't know if I talked about this. I think it's been live for a couple of days. It's whatever. These things, you can get the things for free if you grind Dungeon Divers really hard. There's great champs in here. I think these events genuinely quite suck. These are more for big spenders because, I just don't have half the champions, right? So if you don't have the champions, it feels bad to buy souls for them, and it's only 2 to 6 star for legendaries. I feel like this is like pretty much Krakens only, though getting the free one is always fine. We've got summon boosts every single day. Let's check out those. Is this live actually, the Tolarian summon pool? No, but we've got news about it. Okay, hang on. So we've got a Tolarian summon pool. No, that was a few days. Oh, wait. For a limited time, from Tuesday the 7th of January. So this is tomorrow. Yeah, okay. But this only appeared in the news. I got confused by the 1st of the 3rd, or the 3rd of the 1st. They've got American dates. Terrible. Very confusing. Terrible. Come on, Raid. European dates. Day, month, year. It's logical. Come on now. But from Tuesday the 7th of January, all right, Tolarian, so Summon Pool starts tomorrow. Aislan the Stalwart, Fina Blade of Arabia, Falman Mornsword, and Doomlord Gregor are headline champions. We might take another look at this tomorrow. Mercy system will be active. I actually thought that was active all the time. But yeah, if you reach 20 summons, it will gradually increase the chance of reaching a legendary. This is rough. Like 20 summons on this, 40 Prism Crystals. That's a couple of $100 at least. And then you will start the Mercy system. Feels pretty bad. I feel like 20 summons without a legendary, they should just give you one out of pity at that point. But hey, this is how it works. But yeah, so the first 3 faction unities. What will be the best set? The first set's pretty decent. Aislan is not great, but Fina's very solid. Falmond is very solid. Gregor is only okay. I think that the corrupted one is going to be probably the best. I think that, I think, where is he? I think Volcanos is ridiculous. I think this new Knights Revenant one is ridiculous. The Dark Elf one is pretty decent. And even the Undead Horde one's pretty decent. The Galen Pact's also pretty good. Vizig is okay. He's very good with stock. And Vizig plus stock and Gizmak as well, worth considering. Potentially Ogren could be very strong now for Siege. Could be pretty scary. Teox is crazy. Balance okay. The Orc one's very good. I don't know. I feel like this is a decent batch of Faction Unity guys. They're going to be up for grabs. I'm definitely going to get it for free and give it a go. Like the free Prism Crystals, I'm going to try grab those and summon them up. But yeah, we'll see. There's probably going to be epics in there as well. We'll take, I guess, a proper look tomorrow, but that's coming up. And then we do have summon events. This has already started, and it's running for the next 4 days. I think this is a trap, pretty much. We do have more Faction Unity in there. So today, Aragaz, Bells, King Garog, Matriarch Arguna, Nogdar, and then Raka and Warlord. I think Aragaz is worth pulling for if you're close to Mercy. He's good. I wouldn't pull for the others. Raka and Warlord, both good. Warlord's still very, very strong for Arena. He can be worth pulling for, especially if you don't have a lockout champ. He's actually great. Very good in Supersonic, particularly in Arena. Raka, I think, is pretty cool. Interesting for Chimera. She's solid. I probably would say Warlord is a bit more useful overall, but if you already got lockout, maybe. She's a maybe. There's probably other better voids. We'll take a look at the other days. But Aragaz is pretty strong. He's kind of worth probably picking up. We'll see. Tuesday, Ballant, Gwendolyn, Mighty Uko, Ragash, and Sun Wukong. And then Leorius and Tunisia. I don't think either of these are particularly exciting. Wouldn't be too excited about them. Ballant, I think, is decent. But let's see who else. Yeah, Teox and Viz. Okay, well, yeah, all right. So it is the other set. I'd say that Aragaz is better than Ballant, so I wouldn't be too pushed on Ballant. I feel like Tuesday's a pretty weak day. Wednesday, Teox, Krokmar, Necmothar, Dracomorph, Python, and then Sulfurion and Krisk. This is a very strong day. Teox is insane. Necmothar has been really, really strong for Chimera. So you got 2 strong options there people might want to chase. Sulfurion and Krisk. I think Sulfurion is extremely good for Hydra. I think he's extremely good for Arena as well. Speed booster with Burns who can destroy Stone Skin. Extremely good. Extremely good. Very much benefits from Pinpoint as well. Very, very strong. Very strong. Krisk is great generally for Hydra. He's good for Chimera. Krisk is good as well. I could see people be interested in both of those. And then for Thursday, Vizig, Cracklin, Rugar Jeroboam, Stalk the Broken, and Karagar Deathbell. Well, considering they're both very recent fusions, unlikely you're going to chase them. Vizig is okay. I think Vizig is nice if you've got stock. If you don't have stock, Vizig is not that great. Gurgo and Diamant. Gurgo is good for Arena, for sure. He's a little bit... I have him. He's difficult to use. He's very squishy, but he is powerful. He's got good aura. Grip buffs, freeze them, then AoE with decreased defense. He's good. My feeling on this is that if you are going for this, I would be definitely targeting Wednesday as the best day. Notably, I think Teox and Necmo, both reasonable. Teox better, Necmo very good for Chimera, and he's decent for Hydra. There's other better champs. These are I think Aestrid is generally better for Hydra, for example, and there's other better options too. So Furion and Krisk both worth going for. I'd almost be more excited by Sulfurion just because of his arena potential and siege potential. But it's up to you, really. I think you could reasonably pull for any of those. I also think you could quite reasonably pull for Warlord or Aragaz, maybe Raka, but no, probably Aragaz, Warlord stand out to me, and Teox, Necmo, Sulfurion, Krisk stand out to me, and not so much. The others are much more niche, is my take on it. If you summon a legendary champ, okay, yeah, same thing. It's just a standard progressive chant, isn't it? So there we go. I think that's all the news. All this stuff apparently came out on the 3rd, but it clearly didn't. This stuff only appeared in game today. But there you go. I think that this summon event, I do think overall it is a bit of a bait before we have the Alice in Wonderland stuff kicking off. So I would not really recommend pulling for it. But like I said, I thought I listed out the champs I think are pretty darn good there. If you're close to Mercy, sure, can be worth going for. But just bear in mind, you're going to want shards saved up because there's going to be plenty of Alice in Wonderland events. They might do guaranteed. They probably do Heroes Paths, probably do Deck of Fate, that sort of stuff for some of the Alice in Wonderland champs. And you're probably going to want to chase them a bit. They will almost definitely have a summon pool for Alice in Wonderland stuff as well. So you might want to chase for that. We will see. There will be almost definitely a summon pool for the most ridiculous faction unity guy so far. You might want to go for that. So if you're like a low or mid spender or a big spender, if you're any sort of spender, there's plenty of amazing events to spend on if you're so inclined. I'd not be too much chasing these current ones. But I do think the upcoming faction unity summon pool is definitely worth, if you can, grabbing the free summons from events and tournaments. That's probably worth a bit of energy, even though, yeah, we're coming up to Alice. I think that's still probably worth it for a chance at a faction unity, is my vibe. There you go. Let me know what you think about all of this. Been a ton of stuff. Again, let me know, do you like these massive news videos, or do you prefer to be split up into smaller ones? This epic, crazy good, though, for everybody. If there's some way to get her, they might do like a guaranteed or something, who knows? But this is one that's probably worth getting for a lot of players. Pretty huge, ridiculously strong progression champion. Ridiculously. Guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.